Okay, everybody, thank you for joining us on Team Fearlessly Authentic's monthly Zoom. It's supposed to be bi-weekly, which we'll get back into. I appreciate if you are watching this later or showing up live. Tonight we're going to talk about goal setting and a little bit about what I've learned about setting goals throughout this process. I've been a coach for 19 months now. I fall on my face all the time. I meet goals, I miss goals, and I thought that the beginning of 2017 would be such a good opportunity for us to talk about setting them and how to set them and what that looks like so that we can take this information in for ourselves, apply it to our own lives, whether it's our business, our fitness, our family. It doesn't even matter. We set goals in all areas of our lives. So applying it to each part of our life and then being able to take that information and use it with our clients and our customers and sharing it with them. And so what I decided to use, you've probably heard of him through some different trainings and personal development, is Brendon Bouchard's dumb goals, because a lot of us have heard of the SMART goals. And we were almost like raised in school and throughout life, whether someone taught us the SMART goals and what that stands for. Brendon Bouchard kind of came up with this idea that like those are great, but the idea of setting goals is to like push ourselves beyond our limits, whether it's a weight loss, whether it's something for our child, organization at home, our own personal fitness. And now we're able to kind of turn around and use this information and share it with our clients and our customers. Because what we want is to push our people and to push ourselves, to push our team, to push each other into new territory. And we can't do that with just the simple, old school, basic goal setting routine that we've had before. And so I don't really want to focus too much on how not to set a goal, which was my original intention, but rather more focus on how to actually set a goal. So I took some notes, and so I'm going to read from something a little bit. And then later, when I post the Zoom for people to watch later, I'm going to also post below that a little 12-minute video from Brendon Bouchard about dumb goal setting. And I know that sounds weird, but it'll make sense as we kind of go along. So I encourage you to watch that short video. Brendon Bouchard is he's really got it together. Like he's struggled and he's very open and vulnerable, which is a big part of this team. And sort of my motto for our team has always been to be vulnerable and authentic. And that's what I really value and appreciate about his work. I haven't read a lot of his books, but I do follow his blog and I read a lot of and watch a lot of his videos. So I'm excited this year to get a little bit more into that. So one of the things that Brendon says when he kind of sets up this dumb goal idea, which I'll explain a little bit more in a minute, is that, let me get my notes here, I'm sorry. Under any circumstance, do not under any circumstance allow yourself to settle on a vision or a calling or a change in any arena that is uninspiring. If you're going to have clarity on something in your life, make it something big, bright, and meaningful that you will get out of bed and chase it until you grasp or until you die. And I thought that was so powerful because there are so many women that I run into that are like, I can't get up earlier. I don't want to get up earlier. And I'll tell you right now, a lot of you know this about me. I go to school, I go to school full-time, I work full-time. I have an internship part-time, and I have a family of 5. And granted, 3 of them are adults, but that doesn't mean that they grow up and move out, just to be clear. And so I have a lot of things going on in my life. There are plenty of times in the morning that my alarm goes off and I don't want to get up. But when I think about the goals that I've set for myself, whether it be each day or long term, I don't want to stay in bed anymore. I want to get up and I want to get after them. That doesn't mean that there aren't days that I don't sleep in, obviously. But for the most part, I want to repeat that. Like, if you're going to have clarity on something in your life, make it something so big and so bright and meaningful that you will get out of bed and chase it until you grasp it or until you die. Bring forth a desire that is unbounded and even scares you a little bit. And that's a big part of his dumb goal setup, is that he wants it to be scary. That will demand all the best that is in you. That takes you out of your own orbit and into the stratosphere of the remarkable. And that kind of desire changes your life, and that changes the world. And I found that so incredibly powerful. Like I said, when I read that a couple weeks ago, I was like, this is what we need to talk about. And this was after we had to, this is actually a revamped Zoom from what I had originally planned, because I was going to talk about his dumb goals, but then I started to find these little snippets that he had written, and I had to share them because they were so powerful to me. Perhaps we should remember that planning comes after visioning, and we can unleash ourselves to experiment with dumb goals. Okay, so here's the acronym, dumb, right? So it sounds dumb, but it's good. Dumb. So the first one is D, which is dreaming. If you had a magic wand and you could wave it and wish to achieve whatever you put your mind to, what would you wish for? That's big, right? Like whatever you could wish for, what would it be? For me, when I think about that, I think about freedom for my family. I think about the things I'm working for, graduating from college, having a college degree, traveling the world, having financial freedom for my family, being able to pay cash for things, not having to be on credit, knowing that my children are safe and secure and happy in life. These are things that are my goals. Now, that part gets a little bit tricky because I can't make goals for my kids. I can only teach them by example, by setting dumb goals for myself and encouraging them to set dumb goals for themselves. And that's really what I've done. In this last week, the kids and I have sat down and they've created goals. And we do the same thing with bucket lists. They create their own bucket lists. So setting that example. But really think about that. Like if you could wave a magic wand, like what would that look like? What would your life look like? Would you lose 100 pounds? Would you be supporting women and hearing successful stories of women who have long-term illnesses that they didn't think that they could have any reprieve from? Would it be women in addiction or women who have, in my case, women who are recovering from addiction and giving back to their bodies what they took away from it for so long? Would it be young moms who have just had a baby? Like, think about sort of what that looks like, not just for you on a personal level, but what that looks like for you on a professional level. The answer to that question is a dreaming goal. Most people are so afraid of failing that they will not set a goal that is hovering too high because they might not reach it. And a really great example of that is, I'm going to call some people out who are actually on this Zoom, is Amy Lopez. Amy Lopez wanted to do 4.0 training. And 4.0 training with Team Rockstar Fit isn't like 1.0, rock the basics. You have to apply to get into the training. You have to meet very specific things. And she talked about doing it several times. And she didn't do it. And then at the very literal last minute this time, she said, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to set my sight up here, because that's what 4.0 was to her. It was a little bit of a pedestal. And if they say no, they say no. And if they say yes, they say yes. So she did the whole application, and it's a big, big application. I think it went in like after midnight. I got a message at like 12:30. I'm done. Oh my gosh, that was crazy. And she's doing 4.0. And that was a big goal. And I know that might not be a big goal to everybody, but that was a big goal for her and her business. And she reached for it. It was big. It seemed a little bit unattainable. She was afraid of failing before, so she didn't go for it. But she went for it, and she's doing it now. And she's going to reap the rewards and the benefits from that. It's like a plant. If the plant doesn't stretch towards the sun, it will not grow. I loved that quote. I love Brendon. I can't wait someday to go to high performance training with him. So that's the D, dreaming. Dreaming is important. And I'll post all of this for you later so you can go over it. Don't be afraid to fail. If you have not read the book Failing Forward, write that down. Read that book. Failing Forward will teach you, like me, a working on recovering perfectionist, that you have to fail to move forward in life. You cannot move forward unless you fail. So you don't make a goal. You don't stop your goal. You just change the date and you do your goal a different date. And that was how it was when I became Diamond. That was how it was when I started school. That was how it was when I applied for different internships. All these things that are happening in my life didn't come to me necessarily on the date that I decided on the date, but they came eventually because I dreamed for them. So D is for dreaming. U is for uplifting. The goal should give you a positive feeling. You should feel good about this goal. That doesn't mean that there aren't butterflies that exist or anxiety about it. It just means it should feel good. You should feel good about the goal that you're setting. When you think about already having achieved it, and that's how you should think, what will I feel like at the end of this? It should give you a good tingling feeling in your tummy. You will be glad when you reach your goal, and it will benefit yourself and others on a greater scale. So calling somebody else out, Miss Amber, who's working towards this 100-pound loss, she's not doing it alone. She's very open about it. She's sharing her experience with the world. Siri just turned on. That's weird. Siri, I didn't even say Siri's name and it turned on. She's sharing it with the world. She is telling people about it. She's bringing people along with her. She's inviting others to join her. She's encouraging others to do it. She's showing how she's doing it. She's not just keeping it to herself. And so she's not only changing herself in just a very minuscule amount of pounds away from this big goal, but she's bringing people in it with her. It's uplifting herself and many around her and hundreds of people that she doesn't even know because they won't ever tell her. When we share and we uplift and we show the world what we're doing, I guarantee you that for every person who comments or likes on your post, there's 10 to 20 more who see it, who are encouraged and inspired by it. And not just your posts, but even in your conversations that you're having in the office. You're not always going to get a pat on the back. You're not always going to get 200 likes or 20 likes or 5 likes. But there's always going to be people who see it, who need to see it, and that's the people that we're talking to. So we're uplifting ourselves and we're uplifting other people. Okay. The next one is M for massive cojones. I don't speak Spanish. That's a Spanish word, okay? So everyone just bear with me. Anyone else know how to say that? Amy, you know? Yeah, say it for me. Did I say it right?
No. Cojones.
Cojones! I was like, read that like, oh, no, sorry. Thank you, Amy Lopez, our Spanish resident. Massive cojones. Cojones is the Spanish word for balls. What? Sometimes it's important to have the guts and courage to do whatever it takes to reach your goal, no matter what. No matter the risk of failing, as long as it's worth it. And that is so true, you guys. Like, I didn't want to become Diamond for a title of Diamond. I wanted to become Diamond because I wanted to have a team of women who were fearlessly authentic in their life. None of us have the same story. I come from a story of addiction, recovery. Some of you come from a completely different background. Some of you are single moms. Some of you are happily married. Some of you are struggling with addictions. Some of you are struggling with illness. None of us have the same dream or idea, but all of us are collectively here together to share what's important. We're prepared to be authentic, and we're prepared to share our journey. and to use our massive cojones, now that I know how to say it right, to do it together. And I love that. And we fail along the way. My God, I did not get sober by like deciding one day I was going to get sober. And I didn't learn to live life just simply by being sober. I've fallen on my face 100 million times. But I continue to share that because I want people to see that failing is worth it and massive cojones is worth it. Okay, so that's what the M is for. No great invention or legendary deed has ever been performed by not having the guts. And we all have the guts. That's why we're here. That's why I have this awesome team. I'm so in love with my team. I say it every day. I say it all the time. So getting to Diamond for me, again, it wasn't about a rank, a title, a paycheck. It was about us and having women on my team and all of us with our different stories, sharing with different people and different sort of ideas of who we want to help through this and who we want to support. And even those people we don't know that we're supporting, the people who aren't commenting, the people who show up. 19 months later, I got a message today, this girl's like, I'm ready. I had no idea she'd been watching my post. She's like, I've been watching you for a couple of years. You're doing this. I'm doing it with you. She's going to be my first Success Club points for January, which Success Club points aren't the important thing, but she's been watching. And that's what this is about. Brian Tracy says that the only difference between the hero and the coward is that the hero sticks in there 5 minutes longer. 5 minutes longer. Just keep going. We see what happens when we walk away from this. Don't walk away from this. This, at the very end of the day, is about you and your journey, and we're just here to share it. And if people want to come along, awesome. And if they don't, cool, because we're on our own journey. We got each other. We got the people who want to come along, and that works for us. Okay, so that's the M. Amy, thank you for helping me with that cojones. Okay, the B in dumb, barely attainable. This is a big one. The goal should be attainable in a long shot. Why? Because it's a dreaming, uplifting goal, which requires mega cojones to achieve. The best thing is that it forces you to stretch higher than you normally would and thereby grow your potential. And what other purpose do we have in life if it's not to grow and be better than who we were yesterday? So I posted my before photos today in my private Facebook page. I have a private Facebook page with just my challengers, separate from what I'm doing in the challenge because we have so many coaches. I wanted a space to be able to talk to just the people that I coach. And I shared my before pictures. And what I said when I shared them is we aren't comparing these pictures. I think I even shared it in the group on the app. We aren't comparing these pictures to each other's pictures. So I don't want anyone to look at these pictures and say, what happened to me last time is someone said, your before picture is what I want my after picture to look like. Nope. Nope. We have different bodies, different lives, different experiences, different expectations, different things going on. And also the picture I just posted comes from 2 weeks of not eating food because I had the flu. So that's not even what I want to look like. What we do is we compare ourselves to who we were yesterday and just hope to be a little bit better than that. And sometimes that means that we weren't better than we were yesterday. So that means that tomorrow we need to be better than we were today. The best thing, again, is that it forces you to stretch higher than you normally would and thereby grow your potential. Rome wasn't built by using the SMART goals approach. And I was going to go over the SMART goals, but I'm not going to. We're just going over the dumb goals tonight. When Colonel Harlan Sanders, at the age of 65 years, went to sell his chicken recipes to restaurant owners, he didn't do it by using the SMART goals approach. He knocked on 1,009 doors until he finally got his first yes. The chain today is called what? Kentucky Fried Gross Chicken, but still, Kentucky Fried Chicken. Actually, I really like their chicken. It's one of my treats I have. But he knocked on 1,009 doors before somebody said yes. Yes, I will take your chicken recipe. Yes, I will help you. Yes, I will make this happen. And I mean, he could have quit after 5, 10, 20, 100, 1,000, 1,009 people until somebody said yes. Yes, let's do this. Kentucky Fried Chicken. So, remembering that planning comes after visioning, and we can unleash ourselves to experiment with the dumb goals simply by dreaming and doing what seems like the impossible. And then the most important thing is to set those little goals up in between. So, sorry, Amber, to keep picking on you, but I'm sure that there were times throughout, the almost 100 pounds you've lost that it wasn't like you were just, like, obviously you always had your sights set on this 100 pounds, but like when you reached 10, I mean, I bet that was a remarkable feeling. When you reached 15, when you reached 20, when you were at 25, 50, you were like halfway there. So like knowing that our sight is set ahead on that goal down the road, but knowing that there's these mini goals that have to happen in between is super valuable and super important. My goal for this month is to consistently work out. Like, I want to get back into it. I'm doing core to force. I'm going to eat at 80%, 85% clean. I'm going to be present. That's a big goal of mine, and I'm learning that in 4.0. No matter what I'm doing, whether it's this Zoom, whether I'm talking to one-on-one, whether I'm at Super Saturday, whether I'm with my family, with my kids, they know that they get my time, my husband. My big focus is to graduate from college, to be strong, and to run a marathon. But my mini goals along the way are going to train me to get there by using the DUMB system. So real quick, I'm just going to review. D, dreaming. U, uplifting. Goal should give you a positive feeling when you think about it. M, massive cojones, not cajones. It's not cajones. Don't say that. And B, it should feel barely attainable. And we're not talking like climb the Eiffel Tower, like barely attainable. We're talking about like it should be uncomfortable. We should be out of our comfort zone. And I think one of the most important things to do too is to share your goals with other people. I hope that you would feel safe to share them with me in a training group, people you trust, if you have mentors. I know a lot of your goals. I know we shared a lot of our goals recently, but putting it out there, like saying it on social media, saying it to each other, saying it to a trusted partner. Hold on just one second. But having that opportunity to put it out there and say it keeps you accountable. And then when you reach that date that you set that goal for, so a couple of you said you wanted to be Diamond by Summit or Diamond by the end of 2017. If you get to the end of 2017 and you are not Diamond, I hope it's not for lack of trying. But what I think it comes down to is let's reassess and move forward. And I'm talking a lot about the business portion of this, but that's not what these goals are all about. These goals are about everything. They're about each other, friendships, family, work, school, all of the things that we do every single day. So, dumb goals, everyone get your dumb goals. And when I do make our post, I hope that you're comfortable to share one of your dumb goals, even if it's something that you have already attained. If this is a method that you've already used, how it's worked for you, what your plan is to kind of do it. And if you're not comfortable sharing it in the group under the feed, maybe you can share it with your downline coach or even just share it with me. I'm a big fan of sticky notes. Let me show you because I have sticky notes all over my computer and they say all of my goals. So I have them on sticky notes on my computer. I have them as messages and reminders on my phone. I have them in my planner that I take to school with me. They're posted on my fridge. They're posted on my mirror in my bathroom. My family knows my goals. My people know my goals. I share my goals with you guys as much as possible. And so I am putting it out there that by Summit, I would like to be a 1-star diamond. And that is my big, that's my big business goal. That's not going to happen overnight. That's going to be about developing and training and learning about leadership and putting these dumb goals into place. I like to say that. Okay, so does anybody have any questions or anything they want to add to it before we stop recording and we can have a few minutes to chat? No? Okay. All right, so what I'll do is I'll post this Zoom before I stop recording. I'll let everyone know. I'm going to post this Zoom, and then underneath it, I'm going to post that video by Brendon Bouchard, and I'm going to ask just over the next month real like inquiring questions about different pieces of these, you know, and how they're pertaining to your life and what you're doing. And if you're ever so compelled to share it with us, if you're just in the moment, you're like, oh my gosh, I did this. I made this goal. I feel this way about this particular thing. Here's why I chose this goal. I want you to just speak out. You don't have to wait for me to ask for it. But I want us to get comfortable being uncomfortable and setting some really big goals for ourselves when it comes to our families and our business and ourselves and our coaching. And I truly want to change the world. We're all here for a different why. Whether it's fighting obesity, disease, addiction, new moms, it doesn't matter to me. I want us to work together because we all have the same tools. We just use it for a different purpose and in different sort of environments. Okay, we almost made it when it was quiet. Okay, thanks everybody for coming. I'm going to stop recording.